It's what's in your wallet.
I'm so old.
I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5 explosive hot dog carts.
Ritualistic blood magic.
Laser shooting chesty statues.
Don't watch movies unless we tell you to. Welcome to Movies with My Best Friend Phil, a movie podcast where we search high and low for the other word for balls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your host, Phil Kessel, joined as always by two people who are not my uncles, but I kind of wish they were. Craig Norland.
Yes.
You are noticeably older than me, so you could be my uncle.
Wait, whoa, hey, let's hit the brakes there. Noticeably?
I mean, it's not. We look like the same person very often.
Yes.
And age-wise, I always have to ask to be carded. I just went to lunch with Steve and Will Chodas. Will Chodas is also here. He's also my uncle.
Who, me? Oh,
yeah. Let me get you in on this.
Yeah.
I went to lunch the other day with Steve for his birthday and some of his coworkers and some friends. We went to Hopcat, and the guy next to me went to order a beer, and he got carded and then realized he didn't have his ID with him, so he's like, I can't. And then I ordered a cocktail, and the lady said, okay.
Mm.
And I went, hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. Now, in her defense, he looked like he might have been under 21.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't. But still, if you card one person at the table, I feel like you should card the rest of the people at the table. And it's just polite. And I'm feeling old because my body is falling apart and I can't climb the stairs in my new house. I can, but my feet hurt and are tired because we've been walking around a lot and we have a lot of stairs. And I'm just tired, guys. And my body's falling apart and I feel old. And I would like you to assuage my feelings.
I'm not going to do that. I did once get carded at Sidetracks. And I'd forgotten my wallet. And so I was like, oh, I actually don't have it. I guess I can't order a beer. And he's like, actually, I don't know why I carded you.
Oh.
And I was like, cool.
I was out with some people once and we went up to the bar and the guy was like, I don't have to card you. I see the maturity in your beard. And I said, that's actually really kind of mean to say. So you can get fucked and I will not be tipping you for handing me a can of long drink and telling me I'm old. You will not get a tip.
Well, I mean, he did hand you some long drinks, so there's that.
Long drink is for the youth. That's not true.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's for, but I do love it.
I don't know what it is. What are we talking about?
It's that drink that Craig introduced us to that I think you had no opinions on and I just loved. It's like a grapefruit in a blue can. It's not a grapefruit.
This
it's
was
grapefruit
finished.
flavored. You were there.
I was there.
You were there.
I was present for this.
Yeah, you had. I think
was
you
I
tried
talking
one.
there or was I asleep?
Well, I kind of always feel like you're half asleep. Your eyes usually glaze over whenever either of us start talking.
That's true. I feel it happening now.
Huh. Interesting.
This isn't about me.
Yeah. Suddenly I'm losing a lot of interest, even though I was there.
Huh.
No, I don't remember that, but that's okay. Is it an alcoholic?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
weird. I don't remember that then.
So it's like it's not a seltzer because it has flavor, but it is closer. It's like on the scale of seltzer to real drink, it is in the middle, maybe. It's got quite a bit of flavor, but it's not like overpoweringly sweet or overpoweringly like bam. I think like calories wise, it's fairly light. It's really good. The regular ones are great. The like extra strength ones are really good. The cranberry one is so good. But I love cranberry. I want them to make a cherry one. I've been really into cherry flavor lately. I don't know, man. Cherry sometimes tastes like medicine, but
yeah, cherry's a hard one for me. Cherry and grape are the two that are so closely related to.
Ooh. Grape can get really bad.
It gets really medicinal.
Dime
and
tap.
It's also one of those ones where, like, I hear people talk about where it's like it actually doesn't taste like grapes that we know. It tastes like the way grapes used to taste, or
that's what they say about banana.
And they say the same thing about bananas.
That
and
one
stuff.
I know is true because that banana doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
and also supposedly no bananas will exist
Well,
somewhat
because
shortly, like in our lifetime.
Yeah, because bananas are weird because they're all the same banana technically. It's like they're all clones of the exact same plant.
Yeah.
Which is how
and why
that's how they all died out, because it got sick and there was no like if
there's no genetic diversity.
There's no genetic diversity, so one got sick and they all died because they all got it. There's nothing. Yeah, so yeah, it's weird.
So why are the bananas going away?
I think it's the same thing. I think they're still only like it's like all clonal, or it's all like very limited species. So they are it's really genetically weak. So if they run into
the same situation,
we're kind of boned. Or we have to genetically modify another thing to be banana-esque, because the banana we eat now is not the same that they made the banana flavor from.
Yeah.
So the banana flavor is reflecting a banana that doesn't exist anymore, that none of us have had.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre to think about, because it's not banana flavored anymore. Mm-hmm. To most people, it's not banana flavored.
Yeah, but it's banana flavor.
It's
It's how banana flavor tastes. You know what I mean?
It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the same with like watermelon flavoring. Watermelon flavor is a flavor.
I have issues with watermelon.
But it's not watermelon though.
Watermelon's an absolute lie.
Watermelon's a lie.
It stresses me out. Yeah. Seedless watermelon. Do you expect there to be seeds?
No.
But there are.
Oh yeah, they're just not. You can eat them.
Yeah, but it's not seedless.
Yeah, sure.
It's infuriating.
I mean, you have a problem with marketing. It's the marketing department that you have an issue with.
Yeah.
So watermelon's
Big
marketing.
watermelon is evil.
Yeah, I mean, that's maybe not the worst thing I've heard a corporation doing.
I can't think of a single thing that's worse than that.
But
seedless watermelon aren't seedless. What else could they have done that's worse than that?
I don't know.
Kill the guy?
You know what I say? Bring back the seeds. You know what I mean? Because I bet you somebody did die from eating a watermelon with a seed, and then it grew in their tummy.
Because they were like, "Oh, this is seedless. I'll just eat everything," and then they eat the seeds, and then a watermelon grows in their tummy, and they get real sick and they die.
Yeah.
Or a watermelon tree would grow in their tummy.
What was it? What was the lie that it would grow in your stomach and like that you would just have
it was like
stomach
but
full?
It was apple seeds. But
was
it's
it
also just
seeds?
like, but yeah, but then
I
people tried to
watermelon seeds.
Oh, I remember it being apple seeds, and then I remember people trying to change it because they're like, "Oh, apple seeds have cyanide in them."
Yeah, I remember that.
So that's why you can't eat them, and it's like, okay, you're just covering for the fact that the apple tree thing was a lie. They do have cyanide, but it's not in
with this. Somebody was really manipulating you as a kid.
You know what? When I was a kid, it was when facts aren't facts.
Yeah.
It stresses me out.
So that's to
factoids.
Me, that is the wisdom of boomers, though. Like literally everything that.
Well, like okay, so a ton of my trivia knowledge comes from Uncle John Bathroom Reader.
Yeah, and
those were just straight up lies.
How dare you?
Like 60% of those books was a straight up lie.
They were just rumors. It was just like a rumor mill.
Yeah, it's like I guess when I was younger, I thought people weren't lying as adults.
Yeah, you would think that a book called Facts you wouldn't need to fact check the fact book.
And then when I got older, I realized that people just lie all the time and don't ever know what they're doing, and everything is a joke. Like, not a joke. Everything is a charade put on by all of us at the same time collectively, and it broke me in specific ways. And the one that I hang on to the most for whatever reason is seedless watermelon not being seedless.
You ever had a grapple?
Yeah, I have not had one, but I've heard of them.
Yeah, I remember having one. I had never seen one since, but it was like way back when I worked at Farmer Jack.
Wow, really?
Farmer Jack.
I thought those things were impossible. Like you would need like really hard, like you grapple, like you go up on the side of buildings and stuff. I heard that they're like really hard to do. Is that what?
You'd have to have like a lot of upper body strength to do it because you got to pull yourself up.
I'm
grappling
impressed.
Gun, absolutely not going to happen.
Not going to happen. So
not with our current
Batman's a lie
science.
too. Another one.
Yeah, Batman's also a lie.
My God, really?
He's also a fascist, and he's definitely the bad guy. But it's fine. We don't
I'm
live
sorry.
in that world.
Joker's the good guy.
No, he's also the bad guy.
Yeah,
they're all bad guys.
Sorry, I was trying to play.
Batman is just a fascist beating up poor people.
Oh yeah, it's really
Everything is bad.
I know, it's just funny. I think about the Arkham games when you like listen in, and the guy's like, "Oh, I ran into the bats last time. Yeah, broke both my ankles and shattered my clavicle. I hope I don't see him again." And then you can zoom in on which one is talking and
then you can
break
beat
his
him up.
arms.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Yeah, no, I'm the bad guy." Yep. I just also love like in those games too. It's sort of same with the Spider-Man games. You're like, Spider-Man doesn't kill people. Yeah, but he will like throw somebody off a building and like have them swing, like he'll net them with like the webbing, and they will slam onto the side of the building, probably breaking their ribs and their skull.
Yeah, he won't kill anyone, but he will maim them considerably.
Yes.
But that's just the problem with superheroes in general.
Yeah.
You know who's the real superhero? Me.
Really?
No.
Oh. I got excited.
I'm just a regular guy.
That was not a segue.
Cannot believe you lied, Phil. After going against
you know what
lying.
also sucks?
What?
The Segway didn't become a thing. It's a thing. You see it every once in a while. But I remember when that came out and everyone was like, this is the future. We're going to be on these weird like gyroscopic scooter things. And then you never see anyone on them until Arrested Development, and it's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
I mean, because here's the thing. There's no cool way to ride a Segway. Segway is
Because
literally
culturally we made it uncool.
No, I'm sorry. You stand and lean a little bit forward and you go really it's just
Yeah. You know who else does that?
Yeah.
Professor X in his weird yellow wheelchair thing.
He's sitting down usually.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's how he moves the wheelchair.
He doesn't have a control?
Oh, maybe it's a control.
I mean, but he's still sitting down. You know what I mean? Sitting down.
Where's your works cited on this?
Sitting down, you can be cool. And it's like, I'm driving a car. I'm moving. But like when you stand forward and sort of like lean and you got that little helmet on.
See, I think this is Big Skateboard that did this because Big Skateboard made scooters uncool for a long time.
Mm.
And I actually think scooters are pretty cool.
Another one that's hard to look cool while riding. A scooter?
Yeah, my cousin had these scooters with like fat tires
You do
on
that
them.
little like hunch move.
So you could go like kind of off-road on them. Those things were so much friggin' fun.
I can imagine them being fun. I'm just saying it's tough to look cool on them.
It's because culturally we say it's uncool. It's same with helmets. Helmets only people don't wear them because they think they look uncool, but it's like
Yeah.
Spider-Man wore a helmet.
Spider-Man wore a helmet. Also, how cool is it when your brains are splattered on the sidewalk?
Wait, when did
Who am I
Spider-Man
talking to?
wear a
I don't
helmet?
know.
Spider-Man 2, when he's the pizza delivery guy.
True, yeah, he wears a helmet.
Pizza time.
And he's Spider-Man. He'd
'Cause
have
he
been
rips
fine.
He rips off the pizza sticker from his helmet
Yeah,
when he fires him. I've seen
Yeah,
that movie
pizza
way
sticker.
too many
I
times.
don't remember that part at all.
pizza sticker.
So if you were to get a scooter, though, what would you use to buy that?
I actually only work on a barter system now.
God.
You need to trade
So I'd have
some
to,
stuff.
I'd have to get like an IOU, but I'd probably store that IOU in my pocket maybe, but like I'd need somewhere a little safer than my pocket because sometimes you store something in your pocket and then you go out to a movie with some friends and it just torrential downpours for the like 15 seconds it takes to get into your car.
Yeah.
And then you're soaked for the entire movie.
Yeah. Felt like I peed my pants.
So I would need something in my pocket
Yes.
to keep it safe, and I would want it to be a material that like sheds water or like can deal with water well, like leather maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what this would be. Will, do you have any ideas?
Ziploc bag.
Yes, I have a lot of leather Ziploc bags. I actually
I
think
know
it
you do.
might be a wallet.
Okay, it's a wallet. Thank you.
That's right. It's time for the segment where we reach deep into our best friend's pants and whip out some recommendations. It's what's in your wallet. So, Craig,
Hi.
what you got in that wallet of yours?
Craigorino.
Well, I already mentioned it by text because I can't keep anything to myself. But
You didn't save it for content?
I didn't save it for content.
Ugh.
Yep. So, I am going to recommend a graphic novel that is called Gotham City Year One, which is in line with like Batman Year One, that kind of thing. But it's like, what was Gotham like in the early 60s when it wasn't the way it was? and this is like no murder rate at all. And everyone's seemingly very happy in the city, and you're following this PI who gets roped into this large conspiracy involving Bruce Wayne's grandparents, and it's kind of a Lindbergh baby situation.
Like the cheese?
Yes, Lindbergh cheese.
I've had one of those. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a very pulpy noir story, it's very good. It deals with race. It deals with...
When did it come out?
I think it's only a couple years old.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty recent. Yeah, no, it's very, very good. Again, if you like noir, it's very much in that line, Maltese Falcon, and The Big Sleep.
How do you rank it among your like favorite Batman stuff, or does it feel divorced enough from being a Batman novel?
It does. I mean, he's in it only in like that he's talking to the guy who's telling the story,
right?
And it's very minimal. And there are every once in a while there's like a little bit of a reference, and it's like, and then where he died was Crime Alley. We called it that. Like those kind of moments. I was just like, we didn't need this, but it's divorced enough from Batman that it's hard to call. It's not a superhero comic. It's
more just like a noir
it's
comic.
just a noir comic. That's all it is.
A noir.
A noir. A noir.
Noir.
And then besides that, I have been watching the first anime I have watched since Bleach, and it's Dan to Dan.
Oh, is that good?
I've heard of that.
It's interesting.
Okay.
It's like supernatural.
I like that.
And you have this girl and this kind of nerdy guy find themselves to be linked together because they start talking about ghosts and aliens, because one of them really likes aliens, so the other one likes ghosts. So they tell each other to go to this place where aliens are supposed to go and one where ghosts are supposed to be, and they both find them. And one of them gets cursed by the ghost, and it's an anime, so things get really weird.
Yeah.
But it's on Netflix. It's I'm 4 episodes in so far, and that's kind of like, it seems like there's 3 mini stories within the first season. So it's good. I like it a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, if you like a little bit more supernatural taste to your animes.
I do. I think my like favorite of all time is Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh,
Spirit Detective.
I love that.
I love that show so much. I think about it all the time.
Yeah. Sean, every once in a while when his hair is like gets wet and then dries and gets curly, he looks just like
Kuwabara.
He looks just like Kuwabara, and I'm like, Kuwabara's hot. No. I've told that story, right? Where yeah. Where he was, so there's a character in this show who I really liked. He's like kind of a himbo, and sort of the bully at first, but then he's like very anime Vegeta style. He joins up with them, and at one point there's like in this place that's like full of fire or something, and he takes his shirt off, and because we were so homophobic, my friends were like, "Why would he take his shirt off?" And I just totally into the show was like, "Well, because he's hot." And then it just became Kuwabara's hot.
Kuwabara's hot
was the thing I said, which isn't what I said, but
I like. Okay, so it's funny because you were like, "Oh, he's like the bully character at the beginning."
Yeah,
and he is, but also if you remember, he never can beat up Yusuke.
Yeah.
He gets beat up every time, but he tries to be the bully, and then he gets beat up every time.
Yeah, but he's
great.
He's not good at it, but
he's not good at it.
Yeah, but he's sort of that antagonist, sort of rival character.
It's it's a great show. I've been recently
What's that?
I've been recently thinking about the later seasons of the show, specifically the 3rd season, because most of the time when you talk to somebody about that show, it is the Dark Tournament arc that is like everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
And I really, really like it.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, the more I actually think I like the next arc better, because it goes back to like actual spirit detective.
Yeah.
Part of it.
It had a
And it's
very
not
like
just, like-
Dragon Ball Z plot halfway in the middle.
Yeah,
Like,
the whole
like the tournament of ghost people or whatever it was.
yeah. So season 2 and season 4 honestly feel very like Dragon Ball Z anime,
Yeah.
and season 1 and 3 just feel like a supernatural detective anime. And I think I'm saying it officially. I think I like season 3 the best.
I haven't
It's also got a
rewatched
really
it.
compelling, weird bad guy.
I've also never watched it, I think, in order. Like, do you remember just watching television? You would just catch episodes
You would
of
just
a
catch
show.
what was on.
Yeah. And you would just be like, when is this? When does this even happen? I don't know.
Yeah, and
Or
then you have to like
miss,
piece it together later.
Yeah, you'd piece it together by like story. Like, that's how I watched all of Dragon Ball Z. Like,
Oh God, yeah.
I think the very last season I ever saw was the Raditz season. Like, you know what I mean? Because I watched it all in the wrong order.
Yeah, I think I watched. Yeah, I think I watched the Boo Saga first,
Yeah.
and then the first 2 sagas, and then I think technically I've not seen the entire Cell Saga all the way through because it was never on
Yeah.
TV when I was it like I missed it the first run on Toonami, or at least like whenever I started watching it, I missed it. And then I watched the Boo Saga, and then they went back to the Saiyan Saga and the Frieza Saga.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was going to go to the Cell Saga, but then a different show came on instead of Dragon Ball Z. And I was like, well, dang it.
Yeah, they would like change it up, or it would just suddenly reset back to the beginning for some reason. Yeah. It was really weird. And like, because we were kids, I never like could figure out like how to predict what was going to happen next. So anyways, is that what's in your wallet?
No, I was just thinking about it.
Oh, okay.
If you want to know what's in my wallet, it's also supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been in a spooky mood lately. So I have been listening to The Black Tapes.
Whoa.
It's a podcast that is told in like a faux documentary style. Like the first episode, they're like, hey, we were doing this documentary about this, and then it got really crazy. We're going to give you like basically all of the material that we have, and just let the story unfold as it unfolded for us. So they tell it in kind of like, it's not disjointed, but it feels a little disjointed, like purposefully, the way they're telling it. And it is, the conceit is that she is doing a documentary on just people with interesting and unique jobs. And the first one that she is going into is paranormal researcher. And she goes on like a ghost hunt and has an experience and is like, oh dang, this is kind of crazy. And then reaches out to another paranormal or it reaches out to a guy who is specifically like a massive skeptic. And he's like, oh yeah, I know these people. Here's why that's wild and not true. And here's the actual science. And this is how this worked. And let me discredit all of this. And then they both go on this mission because this guy has these like VHS tapes that are all supposed to be these unsolvable cases. Because he works for a foundation or owns a foundation that is offering $1 million for whoever can prove the existence of the paranormal.
This sounds really familiar. What was it
It's
called?
called the Black Tapes.
Black Tapes, yeah.
And so he's got these VHS tapes that are all cases that he has not been able to disprove yet. So they start reinvestigating these tapes. And it just takes you on this like why I've just finished season 1 and I started season 2. I'm like 2 episodes in. It has been really, really fun. There's occasionally a voice actor that I'm like, I'm not really convinced by this person, but for the most part, like the voice acting's been good. The story is really interesting. And I'm like, it's compelling. It's like, it's making me want to dive into the mystery further. And then they bring you further into the mystery and you're like, what the hell? And then they do a pretty good job being creepy. And
Nice.
I've just been in I've been in a spooky, creepy mood lately.
Maybe it's your new house.
It's probably the new house because it's 100 years old and there's definitely, don't tell Jack, don't talk about it with Jack, but there's ghosts. It's 100
Right.
years old.
So when I texted Jack earlier that there are ghosts in your house,
That is a really bad idea because she's home alone.
she's home alone right now. So
Yeah,
I
don't do
shouldn't be
that.
texting her right now.
I'd rather you
I
didn't.
think there might be ghosts in your house. Don't ask how I know this.
I'd rather you didn't because
Okay.
then she's going to text me
So
and
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to
s-
have to
this
leave
is-
and
I'm
we're going to
hitting-
have to end this recording.
Yeah, I'm hitting send. We'll end it. Okay, then I'm definitely hitting send.
Wow.
Wow. What? Wow, what? Did I say that out loud? I didn't hear that.
So the podcast is also it's yeah, no, it's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
sounds good.
It's
I haven't ever like. I feel like I'm right now doing like a lot of the actual play stuff because it mixes the two things I like, which is like fiction, improv, and like people just hanging out, you know.
Yeah.
And I haven't yet to jump into like actual like narrative, sort of like not necessarily books on tape, but like what's the word, like radio drama
Yeah.
stuff where it's like produced to sound like either reality or close to reality, you know?
It's I really like them. I think
I just every time I like I click on one or look at one or get close, it reminds me of like back in the day when I was a kid trying to find books, because every time I was always looking for a book that was like had dragons and action in it, and every time I found a book like that like promised dragons, it was always like Lord doesn't walked on the field of, and like someone just trying their best to do J.R.R. Tolkien, and you're just like, God, this is boring as hell.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like I feel like I'm always like, what's the tone? Are they funny? Is it clever? Is it overly serious? And then I started and I can't get into it because of
That's
this, that, and
very
the other.
fair.
Yeah.
I have had that problem with the
Yeah.
audio dramas that I've listened to where it's like
Yeah.
I'll start and I'm just like, oh, this is I understand what you're going for,
Yeah.
but this writing is not doing it
Yeah.
for me. Or
'Cause-
this voice acting is not doing it for me.
Yeah, the way I discover so many things other times is either by recommendations of a podcast, or I go like, oh, so and so who was a great guest on this thing was in this, has their own this, and then I'll listen to that, and that becomes my new favorite thing. So like, yeah, it's just tough to get into those kind of things, which is why we do recommendations, right? Because people will definitely follow them.
Yes, all the time.
I will hold on to I recommended The Ritual,
Mm-hmm.
and Brad listened and then watched it and
Wow.
then texted me that he really liked it.
Yeah. Well,
Also, I think I made Craig watch it and he
Yep.
also liked it.
it's a little bit different.
I mean, yes, because he was here and had to hear it.
And
But
also,
at least
Craig does not listen to the podcast.
Nope.
fair.
I
But
was
I
here
got
for it,
one.
though.
Listen,
you
I got
one.
one.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at
I
all.
at least got one.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Hmm?
Do you have? Do
Kind
you
of,
have
yeah.
a recommendation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd call it a recommendation.
For
it's
us?
just sort of like I have been playing. Like my house is Pokemon 24/7 all the time. Like Jack loves it. Like Caitlin and I like had to just sit him down today and just be like, you have to stop. Give it a half an hour. You have to stop asking me what my favorite Pokemon
It
are.
was really funny today
Well,
because
You're
Jack,
breaking his heart.
I know.
Jack, my wife,
Yeah.
mentioned a video game,
Yes.
and then Jack, your son, was like, "Oh, is that this Pokemon game?" And we were like, "No, it's not that one." He's like, "Oh, is it this Pokemon game?" It's like, "No, it's not. It's not a Pokemon game."
It's not a Pokemon game. It's a video game.
And I swear, he just for a split second was like, "What?
Yeah, like he couldn't
What do you mean?"
comprehend it. Yeah, so like, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, and I'm making videos on the internet about Pokemon. Can't get away from it. So, but I and I don't mind it. There's worse things to be. Like someone said that
Yeah.
to me. Like I think my sister-in-law was like, "How do you feel about being the Pokemon guy?" I'm like, there are way worse guys to be.
Yeah.
Pokemon's pretty fun. And anyway, so I visited my brother a week ago, and he lented
Woo.
me Pokemon Shield, which isn't the most recent one, because I watched him play that one for a minute, and I said, "This looks terrible, and I don't want to play it."
Nice.
But he then showed me Shield, and I was like, "This looks fun, and I do want to play it." Yeah. I like Scarlet, and the newest ones are like Scarlet and Crimson, something like that. Violet, maybe. That doesn't really
Violet
matter.
sounds right.
And it's
I
like
don't know.
open world, but like the Pokemon, like he's playing it on the Switch, what it's made for, and the Pokemon, like you'll like be running around and they're popping in to existence like right next to you, like, and it's just like the game can't load at all. And it just doesn't look like, it just looks like they were like, you guys like we're doing Breath of the Wild. Also, it's mostly an online multiplayer game. Like, it's like they tried to do too many things.
Oh no.
Yeah. But I'm not playing that one. I'm playing Shield, which is of the Sword and Shield variety. And it's a lot of fun. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of like Pokemon. They have this really fun thing.
Kind of like Pokemon.
I look, because I've always been against the mainline Pokemon games because I've never liked the idea of having to buy 2 versions of the game, not being able to get all of the Pokemon easily on my one playthrough. And I also never liked that, like, the game always kind of had this sense of like scarcity to it, where like they're purposefully not keep giving you, like, you could never actually get Mew as a kid. I mean, you could, but not really. You know,
my
had to,
uncle actually worked at Nintendo, and he gave me a cheat code to get Mew right at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. So you're one of those special boys.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Always special.
But like that kind of stuff, like I don't like, you know, and I also don't like, like, I just feel like it's a game that like takes itself way too seriously.
Yeah.
And like super fans like really like that sort of like collect-a-thon-y, grindy sort of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't care, but it's fun to play now that I'm older, and I also don't care about the completing the Pokedex at all. I'm just like running around. It's fun to play a Pokemon game again, because it's like they're like it's too many Pokemon though. I will say that this game, when it came out, there was 800 or so, and this game you can catch like 450 different kinds.
Dang.
So that means that like the second you walk into any sort of space, there's just like a shit ton of different kinds of Pokemon, and you like start catching them, and you're like, what I don't even, what do I do? Like I have like, I remember playing Pokemon, you'd get like one fire Pokemon. You'd be like,
yeah,
you know, like I got a fire Pokemon. You know, and in this game, you're just like, you got like 6 already. And you're like, which one do I use? Which you just go off the vibes, you know, you're like, I'm just vibing. This is who I'm going to vibe with, you know?
Yeah.
But Mike and I did that thing where you trade. So I had all the starters too. See, that's the other reason why I'm like actually going to have fun with it, I think, this time, is because Mike also has Sword. So like he's got the other version, so we can trade back and forth. And it feels like it's how it's supposed to be. But you can also do this thing in the game, which is fun, which you can just grab a random Pokemon and throw it.
Kill it. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, well, you might be able to do that. I haven't figured that part out yet.
Okay.
But you just do a random blind trade with somebody else on the internet. And yeah. So you just like, you can like catch whatever, and I did that. And one time you'll get like Magikarps back most of the time, but you can like constantly just have it going in the background. And I ended up getting like a Torchic, which is the Gen 3 starter Firebird Pokemon.
Okay.
Which is like a really just out of nowhere. And I was like, oh, okay. So, and it's not even, and it's weird because it's not in the game's Pokedex. So I don't even know like how they got it. I don't
broke my game.
I don't even know.
Oh, probably a Game Genie.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking it was either through Pokemon Home, where you can like trade. Like Pokemon Home is this thing where you can connect your other Pokemon games across the other Pokemons.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like for a while, you could realistically, if you had the right stuff, you could have had the same Charizard from Blue in like Pokemon Sun and Moon if you kept trading it. You know what I mean? Like that's the other thing that's weird about Pokemon, is they keep this consistency with them. Huh. So it's sort of weirdly stuck in this 1990s video game sort of, I don't know, it's just strange. It is a strange.
It is a strange. And strange.
Yes, but my brother did give me a Galarian Farfetch'd, which I was very excited about, because somebody finally acknowledged that Farfetch'd is an awesome Pokemon, and they gave him a Galarian version, and then he can evolve into Sirfetch'd, and I got him on my team.
Nice.
It's really tough to do. You got to get 3 critical hits against the same Pokemon.
It's
hard.
great.
That's hard.
That's great. Yeah,
It's really hard.
That's hard.
Yeah. And I did it. I did it in the car driving home.
So
Wait.
So
Well, I wasn't driving.
you were driving, hopefully, yeah.
I was sandwiched between the 2 boys' car seats because Jack wanted to watch me play Pokemon, and I said, this will be fun. And then I was like, what a mistake I've made.
What a fool
Yes.
I've been.
What a fool I've been.
Speaking of, so Jack, your son,
Uh-huh.
Mike, your brother,
yes, sir.
is Jack's uncle.
Yes, sir.
So Uncle Mike, but
Uh-huh.
if Mike's name was something different,
Yes.
like Jeffrey, it'd be Uncle Jeffrey.
Yeah, that's true.
But if it was like Buck, it'd be Uncle Buck.
Yes. You're looking at me. Is something, is there something on my face? Did I forget?
No, your hair's messed up.
Oh, my hair is, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's right. We watched a movie. We watched Uncle Buck. I should have pulled it up while I was doing the stall. And now Uncle Buck is a 1989. Hey, that's the year I was born. American comedy film written and directed by John Hughes, starring John Candy, Jean Louisa Kelly, Gabby Hoffman, Macaulay Culkin, and Amy Madigan. It's 80 minutes long. Nope, that's not right. It's 100 minutes long, and it made $80 million. I couldn't figure out what its budget was.
80 minutes long.
It's 80 minutes long.
80 minutes.
No, that's not right. How do you think this movie is sitting on Rotten Tomatoes?
It's got to be pretty good.
Uh,
It's got to be like 80.
We're talking
86?
critics first.
Yeah.
86.
I'll do 76.
59, boys.
Good
59.
Lord.
59. 77 for the audience score. So a little better
Okay, both of those are
there.
incorrect.
So who picked this movie? Oh, I picked this movie.
You picked this
Yeah.
movie.
I picked this movie because I wanted to get us out of the 70s or the 60s or wherever we were.
Yeah.
And Craig, you had mentioned that you hadn't seen it before, which again felt like a mistake.
Again,
It seemed
I
like there's no way.
basically have seen it. I think I have.
Yeah, it is. But it is like one of those movies because, like, considering John Hughes's other films,
His oeuvre.
his oeuvre.
Is that the right word?
But I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
But considering his other films, like, I can see how you missed this one because this one is like, if you're thinking John Hughes, you're thinking a lot of other things first normally,
Yes.
and you know what I mean?
I could see that
Yeah.
for someone else.
Yes, that's true.
I cannot see that for Craig Norland.
Yes,
No.
it seems like a Norland film.
It's especially because my sister is obsessed with John Hughes. And so I have seen most of them because of her.
Most of his oeuvre.
His oeuvre.
not
I
the
have
right
not
word.
seen they're having a baby, whatever that one's called.
Yeah.
And like 16 Candles is one of those, I feel like I've seen it, or The Breakfast Club. I've seen so much of it, I might as well, but like I haven't sat down and watched any of these movies
Yeah.
since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to say, yes, I have seen it. Like I just have to be like, well, I have to give it a chance now.
Yeah.
See how I feel.
I can't remember if I've seen 16 Candles. I feel like I'm in the same boat with that one specifically where I'm
Yeah.
like, did I see that one? Or did Caitlin just have it on in the other room and I kind of did the dad thing?
And
where
you've just like osmosis a
yeah,
bunch of
enough of it that I like. I've
Yeah.
listened to enough Gen Xers talk about it that it feels like it's
it. Yeah.
it's a
And
movie
that's-
I've seen.
I think that's me for a lot of them. I know I've seen The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, definitely.
All the way
I sought
through.
that one out because I knew I would like it.
I know I had seen Uncle Buck.
Yeah, I definitely seen
all
Uncle
the
Buck.
time because that Tom, my brother-in-law,
Yeah.
puts that on every single year for the holidays. It ends up on. So I've seen it at least like once a year for the last like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
And I feel like I've seen it outside of that as well.
Uncle Buck feels like one of those movies that my parents would rent and watch. It was like a family movie because it's like it maybe has it has a little bit of swearing but not a ton.
it's
got-
fairly all ages.
Yeah, it's got a cute little kids being precocious.
It's got just like slapstick funniness
Yeah,
to
and
it
slapstick
as well.
funniness, and you could just
Craigily Deggily.
Criggly Diggly. Yes.
Having not seen this, Give me what are your initial thoughts? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you mad that we watched it? Are you happy? Are you sad?
It's a weird thing because I love John Candy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love him in this movie, and I've seen the parts so many
Right.
times. So it's hard for me to be like, this is a great movie. I can't wrestle that away from my nostalgia from it.
Hmm.
And also, I just like John Candy a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
but there was those cheesy John Hughes
Yeah, I was
things
about
that I
to
was
s-
like,
Yeah.
there's just stuff in it that I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
I think the ending
Yeah.
of this movie felt a little unearned.
yeah,
I'm gonna say, like,
Certainly for the mother.
yeah, for the mother, it like she didn't do anything to deserve and the daughter just suddenly like, oh, I guess I'm cool now. You know what I mean? She went
Well,
from being
okay, but she did have like a whole.
yeah, she had a traumatic moment, but
Yeah.
it just sort of felt like I guess just I'm being a little more cynical this time around. It felt cornier than I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
You
that's
know,
fair,
it was
and I
like-
do feel like there was like
I'm not saying it's bad
there should
necessarily.
have
but-
been like a middle ground
Yeah.
for the two of them instead of jumping straight to
yeah,
the
because
hug,
she
maybe.
yeah she had like I believe her getting on the same side as John Candy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like him winning her over and like finally being like, okay, we get along. But then her just transferring that to her
To
mom.
felt,
felt-
definitely seems unearned.
It felt a little unearned and kind of like out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Um,
because I mean, and it's classic John Hughes. The parents kind of suck.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's a staple of I feel
Yeah.
like John Hughes is like the parents kind of suck.
Yeah, yeah.
And so in this movie there is like the parents don't know anything about what's going on with their kids.
No, yeah.
They're just like wealthy suburban Chicago people who are just like they have these kids and they don't know how to relate to them. They don't know how to talk to them. They don't know what's going on with them.
they just
and-
did
and-
what they were told to do, which
Yeah.
was get a
Yeah, and
nice job.
it's
Get
like
a nice
have
job,
kids.
get a big house,
It-
have kids.
and they very much have that like boomer mentality and it's like I've tried nothing and I'm all out of ideas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We've tried everything, including nothing,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, that's I'm not even going to like
So I'm gonna just yell at the daughter.
yeah, yeah.
And also,
Basically,
like I know it's part of the movie, but the fact that the two little kids are basically don't need anybody at all. Like they're both very precocious.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially Macaulay Culkin's character.
yeah. Now, okay, so I wonder if that is if we're trying to put this in like a realistic light, which why wouldn't we? That's
Mhm.
such a good thing to do with movies,
Mhm.
especially older movies. Is he that way because the older daughter is so like not helpful and not very good? Like she gives John Candy so much shit about leaving them alone, or like says she's gonna tell the mom and then does tell the mom that like he left them alone, and then she leaves them alone.
Yeah.
So like she's not a good babysitter either.
No.
So is he in like a traumatic situation where like he has to be able to run things on his own? Because the youngest girl kind of can't. I feel like it's Macaulay Culkin's character that is
Yeah.
like doing the dishes and like answering phones and like is sort of running the house in the way that is in the way that a kid kind of can, which is just like doing the dishes. I don't know, but I think this movie's really funny.
Yeah.
There's so many parts in this movie that like, and I'm not gonna do like a bunch of lines from the movie. If you've seen the movie, you know the lines. This movie is just genuinely so funny. I think John Candy is an absolute treasure.
Yeah,
In this movie and outside of this movie. I think Macaulay Culkin is such an impressive, like, funny kid actor.
yeah,
Like he's funny in Home Alone, but then I think in this one, which was earlier, he's just like
yeah, I think this was his first.
I think this is his first.
Yeah.
He's hilarious in this.
Yes, he is really
Mhm.
funny.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines is when he first shows up. Uncle Buck first shows up and Macaulay Culkin, like he shows up in the middle of the night and Macaulay Culkin's character comes down the stairs and sees him there and he's like, who are you? And then like 10 seconds later, he turns to his sister and he's like, he's cooking our garbage. And I don't know. It's just really funny. But I think the thing that I really like about this, I feel like, you know, I do think that this movie is one of those movies that, I think it might be one of John Candy's worst movies. To be fair, he hasn't. No,
he's got a lot of stinkers.
Really, I saw like I didn't look like he's directed too many. Or no?
Did you say John Hughes?
Yeah, John Hughes. You
said John Candy.
You said John Candy.
You said John Candy's worst.
I knew I was going to do that. The second I wrote down that John Candy and John Hughes are in this, I was like, I'm going to screw this up. No, John Candy. No. This might be one of his better movies.
Yeah, you're saying this might be one of John Hughes's worst movies.
Worst movies. Yes.
So I think universally people think She's Having a Baby is the worst.
Yeah.
And then people are so on like Curly Sue or like Weird Science.
Weird Science, I think, is aged the worst.
Ooh,
yeah, I mean, 16 Candles is aged pretty badly too.
Yeah.
I feel like the ones that get that top tier are...
But I just feel like, like you would hear people talking 16 Candles, talking
Ferris Bueller
talking Breakfast Club, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yep.
Not way before, but before you hear Uncle Buck.
Yeah, I'd say it's a mid-tier.
Yeah, and maybe it's mid-tier, but it's like, it's weird because it is one of those movies that like, I think in the wrong hands, this movie could have been absolutely terrible. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I think because John Hughes is good at what he does and John Candy is good at what he does, the movie like is elevated in a way because like I like how likable Uncle Buck is. I think there is a way to make that character where he is not as likable because he's like supposed to be like a deadbeat sort of dad.
Yeah.
Not dad, deadbeat sort of
uncle.
Yeah. But he still comes across as like, I mean, the only time he really seems like a bastard is when he's talking to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he almost takes his kids to a dog track or a horse track.
But like the thing with him almost doing that, he very much is like, I have felt that pressure of like, because I'm freelance too. So like there are times where it's like, I have to do this job. This is how this is going to get me going for the next 3 months. And if something
that's how I make my nuts.
That's how I make it. And so like if like suddenly like one of the kids gets sick, I can turn into kind of a little bit of a bastard because I'm like, I can't, we can't, I can't say no to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that panic I totally can relate to. And he doesn't do it in the end because it's not the right thing to do. But like it's moments like that, and also like him and the daughter where she comes in and she's got such a terrible attitude, and he is not like we're not supposed to like her either, which I also liked because she's so like you're like okay, who would relate to this?
Yeah,
you know. So I don't know. I think it does a really good job for what it is, and what it is isn't really a good movie and all that. But like.
It's a very light movie.
That's the word. That's the word. Yeah.
It's light.
Yeah.
It's not super complex. It's not, but it's just it's light and enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it wasn't John Candy in it, I don't think there's any way they could have pulled this off.
Yeah. No. I mean, if Chris Farley had lived longer, maybe he could. Like, well, obviously,
he was born earlier.
He was born earlier, but like a movie like this, Chris Farley could have done if we were slipping through time somehow.
Yes, like Sliders.
Yes.
You know, I think, oh man, Sliders. Love it.
It's such a great show.
Such a great show, but we're not going to sidetrack into that.
Well, we could.
John Candy, I really think he works better. Besides this, I think he gets away with it in this movie. Because he's kind of doing a bunch of little vignettes. They're all little skits.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, every scene is sort of its own little thing.
Its own little thing, and their own skits, which this is where he came from SCTV, what he's used to doing. And then you see him out in a lot of other films in bit parts. And, you know, he's in Home Alone for, you know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. and he's on a lot of he makes a lot of cameos, and I think he works really well in those kind of roles.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of his where he's the main person, he's not. Like with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, he's part of a duo.
Yeah, yeah,
And that works.
yeah.
People Like Great Outdoors. He's with Dan Aykroyd, I believe, is the other person in that one.
I haven't seen Great Outdoors.
Okay.
It is Dan Aykroyd.
Okay. So I think he works as a foil.
Yeah, a good
Well-
foil. Yeah.
But when it is just him as everything is on him, I don't think he does very well with it, and I don't know why that is. But
Interesting.
if you look at his filmography, there's a lot of just not very good movies that he was
Yeah.
the lead of.
Interesting.
And nobody talks about those movies when people are like, oh man, people don't talk about John Candy anymore. We need to appreciate him. And it's like, yeah, he's had where he was the lead. He's had a couple good ones. And the
Yeah,
rest
it's
of
like
them are,
Uncle Buck and like Planes and Trains and Automobiles are the ones I know him
yeah.
being great in, you know?
Yeah. The rest of it, the
But,
cameos.
you know,
Cool Runnings.
and
Oh,
Cool Runnings.
Runnings,
Cool
yeah.
Runnings is another good one. And Spaceballs, Barf, the dog.
But
I
yeah.
have not seen Spaceballs.
Don't. It's bad.
yeah.
I'm,
Spaceballs is.
I'm,
I
I'm,
come
so
on.
I
I'm going to-
started watching it and I didn't like it.
I'm going to die on this hill that Spaceballs is actually quite terrible. I just
You guys
Oh,
don't like
Craig's,
funny movies.
That's not true. I like plenty of other Mel Brooks.
We're
I think
literally
Young Frank-
talking about how much we
love
liked this funny
I
movie.
think Young Frankenstein is hilarious,
Mhm.
and I think Blazing Saddles is great. I haven't seen too many others of his. I'm realizing, but for whatever reason, I rewatched Spaceballs and I went,
Did you like Men in Tights?
"Oh, I did like Men in Tights."
So I don't understand why you don't like, because it's the same era of Mel Brooks.
Well, so I need to rewatch Men in Tights, but for whatever reason, rewatching Spaceballs, I remember laughing so hard as a kid and
Mhm.
rewatching it, and I didn't laugh once. And I was like,
Oh,
"That's
no.
not
No.
good." It just felt like it was just pun after dumb pun.
Not even the combing the desert part.
No.
That is. It is funny though.
It's so.
Come on.
I was just like, this is just too dumb. I don't know. I just
See, this is why my sister would get mad at me,
yeah.
because I liked those dumber movies. Kung Pao or any of the parody movies that
Yeah.
weren't Airplane. And that's why she thought my tastes were garbage for a very long time.
I don't know. It's just Barf is not funny. It's just not funny.
Oh no, I mean there are definitely really dumb parts of that movie, but there's some
Funny,
good
she
stuff
doesn't
in it.
look Drewish.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the whole Schwartz thing being their penises, like they're
Yeah.
fighting with their penises. It's just like, okay, guys.
Okay, so we'll get back into it. There was something else I wanted to say about the movie at hand. Well, for John Hughes,
I mean, Darth Helmet is not funny at
oh
all.
my God,
What's the joke? He has a helmet on.
and it's just large.
It's just
That's
a
it.
big helmet, and then he takes it off most of the time.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
get it. It's not a funny movie.
I feel like I relate to Uncle Buck
Yeah, because
because
are.
I'm an
You're
uncle.
the uncle.
Yeah, you're
the
the
fun
I'm the
uncle.
uncle. I'm the funkle. I am also my life is together, like financially and job wise, but it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
always. There was a good chunk of time there where I was just kind of a gigging musician and had zero money, and then I worked some pretty shitty jobs, and then so this movie, I'm like, I see Uncle Buck. I see him. It was like, did you guys ever watch Our Idiot Brother?
No,
It
but
It has
sounds
Paul
very
Rudd in it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good movie. I saw him in
Yeah.
that movie. I was him in that movie.
Yeah.
And so I've like watching this movie again, I'm like, oh man, yeah, I get this. I get this. Like I had seen this, like I just saw this
Yeah.
holiday season.
Yeah.
I just watched this movie. But something on this rewatch, I think different context watching it with you guys.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I am I am Uncle Buck.
Yeah, I had such a hard, it was very funny just like listening to him like asking legit questions about like how their house is run.
The dog part. Oh my god.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah, how many times a day would you
Feed a dog.
feed a dog like this?
Yeah, he's like once. Oh, really? Oh, interesting. or even the part with the cat. He's like, who let the cat out?
Yeah.
We don't have a cat. Get out of
Get
here.
here.
But like, yeah, like with the mom, like just like totally like losing it because he doesn't know this and that or the other was like, I was like, oh, come on. Like just,
Yeah,
I don't know.
like the character I dislike the most is the mom character.
yeah.
Even when the girl is kind of being a bitch
yeah.
for most of the movie, you're like, okay, she's a teenager. She's
Right,
going
right,
through it
right,
right
yeah.
now. But the mom is just
She has no patience and she also takes no response. Like the daughter's saying things like, you're never here. You don't know anything about your kids.
yeah.
And the mom is like, why are you saying such cruel things? It's like, well, lady, it sounds like it's kind of true.
Yeah.
Could you maybe self-examine for a goddamn second?
For a second there. Yeah. And like, even like, you know, I do kind of feel bad for the husband. Well, not really, but because he seems to be bad. But I did like when he was like making that phone call. He's like, we could call my brother Buck. And she's like, oh God. And I just like, I'm like, I feel like I've been in that situation where it's like, I have to like convince my wife to like believe in somebody she doesn't believe in because I kind of like put ourselves in a situation where I'm like, well, give him a shot. We'll see.
I feel like I've been the guy that somebody has had to convince
Yeah.
to put their faith in.
Yeah. So, and it's just sort of like, so those parents, I felt no real sympathy for, especially the mom, because she just was like, she didn't like own any of the, you know what I mean? She had no growth. She didn't like learn. It didn't seem like she learned a lesson. Like, oh, I need to be a more attentive mother or anything.
She didn't learn it like visibly on screen, but
Yes.
it seems like she somehow learned it. And she was at her father's not funeral because he didn't die.
Yeah. So like,
But like,
the
so
story
like I
is
get that,
yeah.
but she's like that before. Like she's a problem before, and then she just goes and has this issue. Like her dad is sick, and then she comes back, and that is what I don't know. They don't show her learning a lesson at all, and then she just comes back and it's like absolved of everything. Whereas we see Tia, the daughter,
it's
like learn a lesson and like figure out that like, oh, I do not have all the answers. I do not have it all together. I need to like trust family, and like, so she learns her lesson and we get to watch it.
I think,
and then the mom is just like, yeah, I'll give you a hug. I'm a good mom now.
I think this is a boomer movie.
Oh, it totally is. I was just about to say it is
This
totally
is-
like
yeah, 'cause
the
it
problem isn't that you need to try and relate to your kids, is your kids aren't trying hard enough to relate to you.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Ooh,
the
God.
girl
Oh,
is not
no.
listening to Uncle Buck's advice
Yeah,
on
yeah.
life, and she's like, "You were right about everything. Everything is about how the adults are right."
Are correct and the kids are wrong.
Oh
yep.
God,
Yeah.
are you guys reframing this so now I can't like this movie?
No, you can totally like the movie. You just because here's the thing.
Buck is not a boomer.
Well, so here's the thing though. Like I don't necessarily think that was what John Hughes was doing.
no,
I'm saying that it comes across that way, and enough boomers watched the movie and went, "You're right. I'm not the problem."
Yeah,
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
that's
Kids
that's
these days.
fair.
Yeah. It just like, but there was a lot of like that. Like, I remember just there was wasn't there like a ton of like parents versus kids crap growing up?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there
Yeah.
was like a ton of that. Like even like parents don't understand sort of like, you know, or even what was all of Nickelodeon's marketing was that like kids rule, parents drool.
yep.
Yeah.
Sort of like
Squirt your
garbage.
parents with squirt guns.
Yeah, squirt your parents with squirt guns.
Yeah.
Do not do that if they're my parents.
Oh my God.
That's a terrible idea. Do not do those things.
You could probably do it to my parents.
Yeah, there was no I remember like you like watch a movie and or like even like a commercial for something dumb. And it's always like a mom playing in the bath with her kids, and the kids like splash her, and she like laughs. And I'm like, this is like
No.
unbelievably unrealistic situation. It's just like, even today, like when my kids splash in the tub, it's like, everybody stop. Everybody stop moving.
Stop.
Stop moving. Stop moving. There's too much water everywhere. Yeah.
I didn't identify with Buck, but
Well, yeah, of course you didn't.
well, no.
Neither
I'm
of
not
you should
fun
have.
at all.
I identify with Buck, but
Okay.
mostly in the
Like
money
gigging
troubles.
economy. Yeah. Yeah.
The gigging economy part.
But he's the character and just John Candy are very, what's the word? Not comfortable, but just like, I like them a lot because they're a lot like my uncle, my dad's brother.
Yeah.
Because he's a larger guy. He would always joke with me and just like we'd, joke with each other and prank each other. He wasn't exactly like Uncle Buck, but I just have good memories.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, that's my uncle right there.
I don't know if
very
I have
believable.
I don't know if I have an uncle that's like Uncle Buck. I think I am the Uncle Buck, but I don't think I had an Uncle Buck. But also my dad was like a goofy guy.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the dad of this movie or the mom of this movie.
No.
And I suppose that's why I became Buck.
Yeah. Could be. I mean, I don't know, like it, but like, yeah, I definitely had like, you have like either that, either it's like family friend or actual uncle who like, as a kid, you're like, this guy's the coolest guy on the planet. Because he doesn't have he doesn't have a wife or any of these like responsibility things. He plays video games whenever he wants. I saw him smoking. That was so cool.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
shoot.
Like, and then like you grow up a little bit and you're like, I probably shouldn't have been around that guy. And and you like hear something, you're like, oh yeah. Like that's your uncle so and so. It's like and then they just start telling you about their life, and you're like, wow, he was a real mess, wasn't he? I thought he was really cool, but he was a real mess, huh?
Hey, for all the listeners out there, you can be cool and be a total mess.
That's true.
As well.
They often go hand in hand.
Obviously, Buck is Michelangelo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like Tia is Raphael. That's a classic.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Here's what I'm gonna posit. I think I'm trying to. Okay. Donatello does machines.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who that is in this, but I think Macaulay Culkin is Leonardo.
Yeah, could be. I think Bug is definitely the hockey stick guy. What was his name?
Casey?
Casey something?
Casey Jones.
Casey
Jones. Casey Kasem.
God.
Yeah. But that would make does that make Sir what's Buck's girlfriend's name? She's got a crazy name. Not a crazy name. It's like Charisse.
Charisse.
Yeah, Charisse.
Is she April? She's got to be April then.
Of course. She's got red hair.
I liked
Love
her
it.
character a lot.
I did too.
She
was
wonderful.
like a no nonsense or like some nonsense.
And again, the way the mom's like, oh, he always hanging out with that woman
that sells tires.
I'm like,
I wrote that down. I wrote down two
me?
things, and that was one of them.
Charisse is awesome.
She sells tires. She has a job. Who are you?
It sounds like she owns the business.
Yeah, it seemed like she owned the business or was like a manager there. It's especially in the time that this movie came out, a manager at a place like that's got to be pretty good money.
Yeah, you're probably good. Yeah.
You could probably afford a whole like lifestyle on that. The mom was such a problem for me.
But like when she comes and Macaulay Culkin thinks it's like three guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is funny.
But just her with the kids is great. No, she's just a great character.
Yeah.
The whole bit with John Candy telling her that he can't make it. That's an old timer.
This is an excellent bit. She's great, and she is like a strong character.
Yeah.
That isn't just like I started out, I said no nonsense, and then I was like, wait, that's not true, because she's not no nonsense. She is just like, god dang tired of.
I was gonna say
Buck's
she's long
shit.
suffering.
Yeah, but like she seems like she is absolutely like a goof around person, because why wouldn't she be?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she gets goofier and goofier the more she like you see that side of her.
Yeah,
Like
Mhm.
like them, you get to see their real relationship at the end when she just like won't stop talking.
yeah.
And he's just like, Charisse, come on, let's just
we gotta
Charisse.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And you
It's just she's an excellent character.
yeah.
It's like all the people in this movie are great characters except for the parents.
Yeah.
Parents stink.
So did one of you guys say that this was turned into a TV show,
Oh.
What?
or was that
No, I didn't
no?
I didn't
Okay,
say
maybe
that.
we were talking about something else. But this is one of those things where I feel like it would have worked maybe a little better in terms of cohesiveness.
No, it is. There's one season from 1990.
Okay,
Oh wow.
as a TV show, because
Well,
A
like-
beer drinking slob becomes guardian to 3 children. Okay, so
Yeah.
so horsing around?
So
Did you see BoJack Horseman? Anybody?
no,
so I think the parents must have died.
Or it's a reimagining of the same
Reimagining.
idea.
but it's like you have an episode of this just him dealing with the daughter, the youngest daughter at school, like the principal. Like you have a whole episode about that. You have a whole episode about the bowling, the bowling episode, and
Yeah,
him going to the racetrack.
that's
like,
fair.
again,
yeah,
Everything's very segmented. Like they're all connected. And you'd have like the through line would be like the boyfriend.
no, the parents did die.
They did?
They died in a car accident.
Oh no!
Is it supposed to be the same Uncle Buck?
Yeah. It's the same kids. It's Tia, Maisie, and Miles are the kids. Bob and Cindy are the parents that die suddenly in a car wreck.
Is John Candy
No.
Uncle Buck? No.
No,
Yeah.
no, somebody else plays him, but it really seems like it is maybe a reimagining, but with all the exact same characters. So like, I don't think it's a direct sequel, but like, dang.
There were so many sitcoms in the 90s where the premise is you have a dead parent.
Yes.
There's also a 2016 series.
Whoa.
I can't tell what happens in this one.
Well, I think
Negative reviews still.
Yeah, I think it is something that could work under the right
Yeah,
circumstances.
yeah.
Because I mean, man in over his head with kids. It
That's
writes
always
itself.
good. Been there, done that. Anytime I have to babysit,
Yeah.
Jack is there too, because I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. I babysat my nephew on my own twice,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the time Jack has been there when I've babysat.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
different when
Um,
it's not your kids.
It is
doesn't
way
matter.
different.
Oh, yeah.
I would still feel very awkward babysitting other people's kids. I always felt
Yeah.
awkward when I did that.
Oh, yeah.
I used to feel awkward if I was with a child and their parent was there, and I wasn't even like
Yeah. Well, it's
the
like
caretaker.
I'll go to I went to a playground when we were in DC, and just some other kid just was like, just started playing with us. We were doing hide and seek, Jack and I, and this other kid just is like, "Oh, I'm playing too," and I was like, "Oh, where are your parents?" And it was
Yeah.
fine, he was a sweet kid. It didn't really matter, but it was still just like awkward at first because you're like,
Yeah.
or like, yeah, I think he turned to me at one point. I like picked up Jack, and he's like, "Can you pick me up too?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Nope."
I hate when that happens.
Nope,
I
nope,
have
nope.
kids do that. Like, oh, can you push me? I'm like, no, I can't, buddy. And they're like, can you play with me? I'm like, can you please find your deadbeat parents? Because
Yeah.
like, you see me having fun with my kids. They're like, play with me. I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
don't know. Why would you ask me that?
So this kid, he was with his mom, and his mom she had a newborn, so she wasn't able to play with him. So
yeah.
she
So
did.
Craig's right, a real deadbeat.
Yeah, she was a real deadbeat.
Yeah.
But it was sweet. She did walk up afterwards and have him say thank you for playing with me, and then
Oh,
I was like, nah,
that's really nice.
yeah, it was sweet.
The one time I was at Lower Huron Metro Park, and this kid had climbed out on the top of the slide. When I hate when kids do that.
Oh yeah.
But he was legit stuck and was like freaking out.
No.
Yeah.
And I was right there. I just happened to be up there with Benji, and like I looked down at the mom. I'm like, is it okay if I save your child?
Yeah.
I'm not going to just grab at your kid all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I touch your child? Ugh. Other kids.
Yeah, it is weird, especially when you're like a dad. I don't know. I do feel like there's like this extra level of like, hi, I'm not touching them. I didn't touch them. Why did I just yell I'm not touching them? Makes it seem like I wanted to touch your kid, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have said that,
And I shouldn't have said all this stuff following that because I'm only making it worse. This hole just keeps digging itself.
I don't know how to get out of this.
Yeah.
We're going to leave. We're going to move, actually. We're moving now. You'll never see us again.
So, Phil, if you were to give this movie a rating,
oh my God, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. This is absolute. I love this movie. I think I will never get sick of this movie. It still makes me laugh out loud every time I see it. It is just. I was the only one laughing out loud. You guys were looking at your phones half the time.
Oh, that's not true.
Well, okay. First off, that's an exaggeration.
No, that's the truth. I was looking at my phone the whole time.
I was not. and second off, when I laugh out loud, I don't always laugh out loud.
But
I chuckle internally.
Like I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I chuckle internally a lot at this movie, and I also definitely laughed aloud.
I definitely laughed out loud a few times, but I was on my phone the whole time.
I was on my phone a lot because also this movie is just a comfortable vibe.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it so many times. It is just like
so many times.
It's just a comfort to have it on, and I'll tune in when I know like a good bit's coming up, which is like admittedly most of the movie. But it's just good. This movie is funny. It makes me feel good. Yes, the mom gets an undeserved win at the end. She should still be taking the L on that.
Yeah.
But like, I get the W. I'm taking a W with this movie. I love this movie.
It definitely is one of those movies that, it has that moment where if you're being like super cynical, or if you have a movie review podcast, you're going to find a way to say like to whine about it.
Yep.
But like at the same time, it's like it sort of feels like that's not really what the movie is, though. It has this because movies have to have this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it really isn't. It's not really the movie, though. The movie is a guy trying to raise kids who can't. That's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What level vibration are you on for this movie, Will?
Okay. I am probably going to give it a, oh boy. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I don't want to meet a 6-year-old who's not a dreamer. Out of 5.
God, that's such a good.
That's like the best part of the movie.
It is such a like genuinely great part. Like it's funny because he's being funny, but he's also just like, this is so
not what being like. I'm running into this sometimes with my kids. My Jack is in kindergarten, and every once in a while, we'll have like meetings with the teacher or whatever, and she'll kind of like say like, okay, here's some problem areas, and problem areas are always like him talking out of turn, him not being interested in class, him not sitting still. And I'm like, he's fucking 5.
Yeah.
Of course he's not sitting still.
Of course he's not.
What do you like? You know what I mean? Like, what do you expect him to do? Like, he doesn't like I. And then Jack will be like, "School's boring," and I'm just like in my head, I'm going like,
"Yeah,
it is.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. I don't know what to do about that, though.
Yeah,
And so it is. It does kind of bothers me that like you still run into those situations where it's like your son isn't following directions. I'm like, well, well, he's 5. Give him a break. What am I supposed to do? Hit him? Like, what are you telling me? Like, you know what I mean?
And you got to imagine in the movie that Brock probably had those kind of principals and teachers.
Yeah.
And that's why he reacts the way he does.
So strongly. Yeah.
Because it's not worth it to me. Because that's so it's funny to me because like everything that you get in trouble for in school is what as an adult you get praised for, like being a leader, being somebody who like is an
Thinks outside
innovator,
the
thinking
box,
outside of
yeah.
the box,
Questions things.
questions authority. You know what I mean? Like that's how you become successful, is doing all of these things. And then, but when you're in school, the way you become successful is following all the directions, not challenging authority,
Yeah.
learning your lesson, not questioning things. You know what I mean?
and it's
Or
and it's-
questioning things in only the right way. You know?
Yeah, the like
Yeah.
factory model of like,
Yeah.
we're gonna build all these kids specifically to work, shitty office jobs,
Yeah.
dead end office jobs, and it's like every time, it's the tiniest little thing, but every time I am with nieces and nephews, I am always trying to like point out, oh, that's somebody's job is doing that cool
Yeah,
thing.
right. Yeah.
Like we were on a playground, and I was like showing Victoria how one of those tire swings worked
Yeah.
with the like the they're not gears. What am I trying to? Not pulleys. What's the?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's got
Gyro.
a hinge type thing
Yeah.
that will go in multiple directions. And so I'm like explaining that, and I'm like, somebody's job is to design playgrounds, right? And she's like, oh, really? I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
that's a job you can have, and because that's something that I don't feel like I had teachers and stuff that were like this principal in this school, but I definitely feel like I was not told other jobs existed.
No, everyone was like,
Yeah.
it was like, it was weird. It was your options were one of the like 8 jobs that they tell you about, like when you're a child, which
Yeah.
is just like, you can grow up to become
Astronaut,
a doctor, an
fireman,
astronaut, a fireman.
yeah.
All the village people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or you can get a job working in an office. Like that's what you can do. And like,
And all the movies tell you that the office jobs are very bad.
yes. Yeah. And
But it's like they don't tell you specifically what it is,
no. And
and that it might not be bad.
it's like 100% just is the office working environment that matters.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like so many jobs, people just are kind of doing the same jobs, but just some in a different industry, where it's just like, what I do is I gather people together. Like if you can be an accountant and work in any industry, basically. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing. I mean, obviously you have to learn how the industries work. You can be a videographer in any, working for any business. It's the same sort of job.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like that was like, they did. I cannot, I had such a bad experience with the onboarding from school to real life. Like so many people just failed me the whole way.
Yeah.
Like I remember talking to guidance counselors, and they'd be like, well, what are you going to do after high school? I'm like, well, I'm going to go to college. And it's like, to do what? I'm like, I don't know. I'm interested in these
I
things.
don't know. You just told me I had to.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm interested in these things. What do you think? They're like, yeah, you could probably try and find a job in that. I'm like, that's not really guidance, what you're doing. This isn't guidance at all. This is, we're just sitting, we're just talking. Okay, cool. Well, what is your job? You know? And it was just like a ton of that. And then like I graduate college, I do the things, and I'm just like, now what? And people are like, well, what were your plans? I'm like, what do you mean, what were my plans? My plan was to graduate and get a job. They're like, yeah, and how were you going to do that? Well, nobody told me how to do that part.
Yeah.
They told me how to do the job once I got the job. Nobody told me how to get the job. It's like, well, you should have figured that out in college on my own. That's why you go to college. You network with people and you schmooze. And I'm like, since when? Why are you telling me this now?
Why would you tell me this after I finished?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. But it's just like, there are so many random weird jobs and
we
like
held
weird.
hands.
Oh, that
Come
was
on,
cute. They
that was
held
nice.
hands
It was
just
warm.
briefly.
Yeah, very warm.
But then it's also like, I tell them that, and then there's something in the back of my head that's like, don't make them think about jobs, you dumb idiot.
Yeah, I mean, there
Like,
is that
you
too.
dumb asshole. Like, don't make them think about jobs. That's not what makes them worthwhile, is finding a job. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a, and obviously you guys are parents, so like you fully understand.
and it's
even
also
more than
weird
me
because
that,
like there's
that fine line.
There's also a fine line between like, if you want a job, there's industry versus what the actual job you're doing. Because like so many kids I went to college with wanted to work in movies just to work in movies.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, you don't want to make movies? They're like, no, I want to work in Hollywood. And I was like, oh, so you would be happy being a line producer on anything. But the job of a line producer isn't really making movies. It's like accounting shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they'll like, yeah, I just want to work in movies. And I'm like, oh, but I'm like, no, I don't want to work in the industry. I like to do this thing that is making movies. I
Yeah.
like doing the thing of that.
Yeah.
You know, like, and some people, so like if you're like, I like managing people, or like I like, you know, I like building buildings, and you're like, okay, I'm going to work at an architect firm. Right. Okay. But now I'm a manager in an architect firm. So my job actually isn't designing buildings. It's managing people who design buildings.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's, you know what I mean? I think that's a big problem that we have.
Yeah.
Why people get so burnt out is because they get promoted because they want to make more money and have more influence, and they stop doing the job that they actually want to be doing. And now they're just managing people who do the job that they want to be doing.
Yeah.
And they are also bad at managing because it's not the same skills.
Oh, it's an entirely different skill set. I've run into too many bad managers. But
Anyways.
I did want to say, Craig, did you have a rating for this movie?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I did. Yeah, you guys were going on for a while there. Yeah, I'll give it a 5 out of 5.
Hell yeah.
It's the best picture.
So it's not my favorite of John Hughes. I think that goes to Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
Because that was the movie that I
for some
watched
reason,
a million
I thought
times.
you said Ghost of
Ferris
Bueller. I was like, is that a sequel that I didn't know about
The Ghost
until
of Ferris
just now?
Bueller.
Watch that.
Because I would absolutely watch that.
And sorry, I have to pull this up. 5 out of 5. I'm Uncle Wart, just old Buck Wart Russell. That's what they call me, old melanoma head. They'll call me that.
Yep. And then Austin Powers stole that.
Yep.
Do you remember the whole moly thing?
Moly.
I have never seen those movies.
Really?
Yeah.
They're fine.
I
I'm
skipped
sure they're
them.
bad.
Yeah.
I skipped them.
Yeah.
I don't know why I skipped them, but then I just it got too far gone to have ever watched them.
It's one of those. Yeah.
And now I don't think I would like
no,
them.
you definitely. I doubt they hold up super well.
Yeah.
They also they're one of the movies that single-handedly. There were a bunch of parody movies that came out, and at this exact same time, movies started getting a lot darker and grittier. You know what I mean? That's why James Bond has always been kind of campy, and then Austin Powers came out, and immediately they're like, no, or James Bond is serious. He's a serious super spy. And you're like, oh, this is stupid then. Because it's not serious, you know?
Yeah.
Right? It's also it led into the super serious Batmans, which I'm like, okay, come on, guys. He dresses up like a bat. He can't be super serious.
Yeah. He's a super serious fascist. Boom, full circle.
Yeah, we did it. Okay, so whose turn is it to pick a movie next? I want to say
Craig's.
It's me.
It's Craig's. Craig, how are we linking your choice?
I actually forgot. Shoot.
Wow.
I'm going to have to edit this. Give me a second.
Oh,
I remember
you're gonna
all
have
the
to edit
links.
this? Is that what I heard? No.
I remember all the links that we've done.
I definitely do too. I definitely remember mine for this movie. It was something in sound, I think.
Should we write that down? Should that be a thing at the end of the year that we
we lead them all back?
Yeah.
So my connection is Risa Brayman Garcia, who is the main cast director.
Wow.
Casting director for Uncle Buck. I had another movie I was going to pick, and I decided not to torture you guys. And I'll pick it some other time. So I'm going to pick, and again, I'm trying to do movies I haven't seen before. So I'm picking the movie SLC Punk. From 1998, or also known as Salt Lake City Punk, which was Matthew Lillard's breakout, and also stars Michael Gorgian and Annabeth Gish, who I know from X-Files and a couple other things.
Okay. I know of this movie. I have never seen it. I don't know anything about it. So I am intrigued.
Yes, I've known about it for a long time, but I don't know so much about it.
I'm so excited because I think I've already picked what the next one is.
Oh, great.
Is it the Scooby-Doo movie?
I have been trying to get Jack to watch Scooby-Doo with me for years.
I remember seeing that movie in theaters with Brad, and we both liked it.
I saw it in theaters, and I also liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun because it was like
I'm really tempted.
right at that right age where we grew up watching Scooby-Doo, but we were kind of over Scooby-Doo because we weren't children anymore.
Yeah.
And the movie made enough fun of Scooby-Doo that it worked for my
I must ask
teenage brain.
Is there an age in the last 60 years that didn't grow up with Scooby-Doo?
Great point.
Yep.
I don't think there is.
Anyways,
so,
SLC Punk.
Yeah, I've definitely, this is one of those movies I've heard of. I've gotten confused with other movies because but it's
I think for a very long time I thought this was like a Akira style anime.
Oh, really?
For some reason. And I don't think it is.
No.
Pretty positive it's not.
Is this is before Scream then for him, right? Matthew Lillard.
It might actually be after Scream because I think Scream was 96.
Oh,
so I think this is first lead.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
Thank you for liking and subscribing to the podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. If you want to tell us who your Uncle Buck is, or if you yourself are Uncle Buck.
Yeah. Uncle Bucks unite.
Yeah. So this episode was brought to you by Brad Barr.
Woo.
Thanks, Brad. If you want to hear your name shouted at it and want to help support us, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/mumbleandtrug.
If you like what you heard, consider leaving a review on any of the platforms we're on. That is all for this episode. I'm Phil Kessel.
I'm Will Chodas.
And I'm Craig Norland.
And I'm Uncle Buck.
Oh, hi, Uncle Buck. How are you?
I'm really good.
Wow, you've been hanging out in the back the whole time. I was wondering when you were going to talk.
Yeah, I was waiting for the end of the show. I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah,
you sound like Ray Romano.
Are you all right? You got a little... You got something.
Charisse, there's someone at the door.
Oh, it is Ray Romano.
Yep.
I tricked you.
You got us, Ray.
It's been Ray the whole time.
I thought so.
Go watch Uncle Buck. It's really great.
It's a great movie.
It's so fun.
Lucy, you want to go see it?
Oh, Lucy.
Yeah, she just woke up.
Perfect timing.
Brought to you by Mumble and Shrug Productions.